All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Wine Women of Words. I'm Michelle, and of course, with me is Diana.
Hello.
And tonight we have a special guest. We have Liz Nygard with us. Hi, Liz. Thanks for
Hi.
coming.
Thank you ever so much for having me on your show.
I have to say
And
I love the Slimer that's next to you. That is so cool.
Thank you so much. That's my dog's boyfriend. Yeah. Doesn't get out there.
Nice.
Oh, it's true. Before we were chatting tonight, I had to take him out for one day. I wanted to show my big brother, and my dog yelled at me and howled and threw a total fit because I took her boyfriend out. She doesn't show her anything. And she just was so sad, like, bring him back, Mama, come on. The German Shepherd mix, and she totally freaked out. She's like, no, my friend. For all the dog lovers, Slimer is a home run.
Yes.
interesting. I don't know if River would go for him. I feel like River would be afraid of him.
My dog's just really weird.
River saw a balloon like floating on the grass, and I get it because with it being such a big hit right now, like balloons are kind of freaky. But he like wrapped around me to the other side so he could walk and peek around my legs at it while we walk past it.
So he's an attack dog.
He's a very vicious guard dog. Yes.
Yeah.
Mine are the destroyer of all things.
Oh, it's too funny. Yeah, I have not seen the new It yet, but I'm planning on doing it. But I heard out in Mundelein, Illinois, someone went around and took red balloons with the tied them to a lot of the grates, and people were really upset.
Oh,
Some people I know were just like absolutely terrified because they know who it is and what it's about, and they just were freaked out. I'm like, how old are you? You're fine. You're a grown up. She's like, but it was a red balloon. And the clouds couldn't get me. And I'm like, no, you're fine. Don't worry about it. And then I went behind her.
Okay, so when I was about 7 or 8 years old, I had a babysitter who really wanted to watch the mini-series when it was on in the 80s.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was there watching with her. It was my first ever horror movie.
Oh, no.
And yeah, it freaked me out. I can't even look at the pictures of Pennywise. I'm just like, nope, can't do it. Can't even the everything. I'm just like, nope.
Yeah. I can't say I blame you. I was about that age too when I had my first scary movie. For me, it was Poltergeist. Heather O'Rourke back in the 80s.
Gotcha.
Now, I empathize. And look how I turned out. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm much better now. Yeah. Switching. Don't like static TVs.
Oh gosh, no. I remember when I saw that, and okay, my first scary movie was the 90s version, the 90s movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I say it was a scary movie because it had vampires in it.
Yeah.
And
it's not a name, it's a fish. I know that one well.
I can't do.
Sorry. That's really funny. I like it though. That was a good one.
I love it now, and there was a point in time when I was all about scary movies and I loved them, but I don't know what happened. I became a big baby and I can't watch them now. So
I don't do blood and gore if that makes you feel any better. Like I will never watch a Saw movie or anything like that. That's just nasty. Real life is nasty enough. Why add to it and make it entertainment? That's not my idea of fun.
Exactly. Yeah, it's gotta be like over the top if there's gonna be blood and gore. Like I had to stop watching The Walking Dead because there was too much gore. But like I can do Quentin Tarantino because it's almost comic book and cartoonish with his gore. So his stuff I can do. If it's like over the top and it's like, okay, this is not realistic. But when it's realistic, I can't do that. But I love B movies. The worst
Pokiness. Yeah, I love that. Out here in the Chicagoland area, we have a guy called the Son of Svengoolie. The actor's name is Rich Coase. And I met him for the first time, goodness, when I was like 8 years old at a Showbiz pizza place. out in Des Plaines, Illinois. I mean, we're talking a long, 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 long time ago. And he makes basically, what do you call it? Riffing, if you guys know what that is, like comedy cuts, and makes his own songs and kind of pokes fun and makes jokes about the movie. So if you Google him, Son of Svengoolie is pretty cool, but it's a Chicago thing. And he comes to the Chicago Ghost Conference and different other things out here. It's kind of like Halloween for him would be like Santa Claus with Christmas, like the two in Chicagoland go together.
Gotcha.
But if you want to see humor, watch MeTV and watch Son of Svengoolie, and you will laugh so hard.
I will have to look at it.
Yeah.
I just, every year for my birthday, which is in October, I watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I can do that. I'll do that like all day long.
Yeah, you and clowns. I don't know. Watch out.
Yeah, it's
honk someone's nose.
And I don't know. Maybe it is the nose. There's a cotton candy. Who knows? So I was little. Before it came along, I loved clowns. I love the circus. I love clowns, and then it came along, and it just totally warped my sense of clowns.
Well, yeah, the normal American response to clowns make them go away.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, I have a girlfriend of mine now that actually she works over at Brookfield Zoo. She does that big old pumpkin smasher that comes on. They do what's called Boo at the Zoo. And they have a humongous catapult. And instead of going out, it goes straight down, so it's a squisher. And they had an execution for pumpkins on the hour. I think that's what it is. And so I got to meet her as the executioner, and we were all talking about ghosts and investigations and all sorts of stuff. And it was just hysterical because, like, here she's like the pumpkin executioner. It was the coolest thing ever. But she and her family literally were professional clowns, for real.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, she's not Pennywise. She's actually pretty cool. So outside, she's like, yo, how's it going? But it's like, yeah, she's like, she showed me her clown ID, and they're actually ID cards, and you pick a face, and then you stay that way. So that's your identification. So there you go.
So now, Diana, when you encounter a clown, ask to see their ID, and if they have their ID, they are legit.
There you go.
Real. Otherwise, come on, Diana, run. Power of the Bobo be with you.
Yes. Power of the Bobo is funny.
Oh my goodness.
So just to give everyone a little bit of a background, I met Liz a couple months ago now, right? Back in July.
The end of July, I think it was.
And Liz is a psychic who is part of a paranormal investigation team called Shadow Hunters. I got to do a whole article on them for the newspaper that I write for, and they took me to a haunted restaurant / bar and gave me a tour, and I went down into the basement. I made it down there. I didn't cry. I didn't freak out. I was very proud of myself.
And you lived to tell the tale.
That's a tough location, too. Oh, my God. Is that a dachshund?
Yes. 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 This is Lilo, my dachshund.
Hi, Lilo. Sorry. Got distracted by a puppy. I used to have 2 long-haired miniature dachshunds named Milo and Basil, and my car's name was Lilo. So this is blowing my little mind right now.
I've got a long-haired one too, named Fizzgig from Dark Crystal. Yeah.
I'm in love. Michelle, road trip. Come on, road trip.
I'm trying to get her to come out to Chicago because she and her husband are big tiki fans. They travel up and down California going to all the tiki bars, and apparently Chicago is big on tiki.
Yeah, tiki.
One of the top tiki bars in the country is located in Chicago. It's called 3 Dots and a Dash. And, and so the during the book festival. We are talking about doing it in June, right during the book festival.
This is so funny. Yay!
Yes.
Definitely let me know when you're in town. I'm sorry to derail.
Oh no, this is what we do.
We never stay on track. That's the beauty.
That's really cool. Oh my gosh. And I'm the one drinking tea, and I have like the shortest attention span here.
It's
Score! It's a goal.
We're pros when it comes to alcohol.
Nah. Now, Diana, what are you drinking tonight?
I discovered Target's new wine. Target came out with $5 wine, and it's just my kind of
Oh, is it out now?
It's out.
We've been waiting for this.
Yeah, I got the Cabernet and I got the Chardonnay, and so I can try one of each, and it's actually quite good. I like it better than $2 Chuck.
Score!
I'll have to go get that.
If I'm going to be paying $5 for it, it better be good. But it's good.
True.
And I was telling Liz, I'm saving the freak show bottle that I told you about, Diana. But I have to show you guys the bottle. Hold, please. Hold.
Okay. Done.
What are you drinking, Liz?
I'm lame, so I will show you my pretty cup to distract you from my lameness.
Ooh.
It is sea salt caramel tea.
Ooh.
With nothing else. Oh, with honey and milk. Yay!
I love tea.
All right, so this is the bottle that I found.
Okay,
And
that does look pretty.
it's freak show wine. I'm saving that for when Erica comes on because I feel like that's very fitting. But tonight I am having a cab called the Federalist because my obsession continues. And it's really good. And I'm almost like done with the glass already, but I can't be hungover tomorrow morning, so we're just doing one glass.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm just doing one glass too.
I have to look
I
pretty.
feel like I should be calling for my dog now. If she comes in, she'd be like looking at you guys like, how you doing? Big dog. Ruby, come.
Too. I swear, I think mine think that they're co-hosts.
Seriously, they could be. I mean, seriously, she'd probably start moving at the screen if she saw your dog. Because the confusion.
Oh yeah.
Hi, Ruby, come on up.
She knows that when it's time to sit here and put the computer on, she comes up and this is her time.
Here. Hup. Nice hopping. Come here. You're gonna break
somebody's camera shy.
Okay.
Oh.
Up. Look. Like, what? You guys see her okay?
Yeah.
Hi,
Hey, it's a sweet face.
My lap dog. She's a big girl. This is Ruby.
Hi, puppy.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, she is an awesome dog. And she's probably thinking right now, what is this dumb human doing to me? The answer is just loving you. You're a good girl. So much. Mwah. What a good girl.
Dogs
yeah. Just like 11 years old. Hello.
Riverboat's way too comfortable on his back. Just.
Oh yeah, she's kind of was like complaining coming all the way down the hallway, which is like 3 feet long, by the way. Okay, go. Relax.
The thing in the world that will give you unconditional love is a dog.
Oh gosh, yeah. And she's been sad lately, and literally, my daughter and I will be like talking to her, and it's like, "What's wrong, sweetie?" And she's like, "Oh." And we can actually get her to start howling, and then she feels better. And then she does the dance of 1,000 happies and just runs around inside the house like, woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Then she's like, I'm done with you, and then she goes to bed. Dance of 1,000 happies and then just done. It's funny though. But that's what we do. She's a German Shepherd mix, so that was Border Collie, Australian Shepherd maybe, German Shepherd, hunting dog, don't really know. She's like painted by major guardian angels with severe ADD. But, yeah, and she feels weird without like a bandana. Like she needs that. Picks it out herself, and she's like, "Woohoo!" You can hold up 2 items for her and just say targeting, and she'll choose what she wants, and then maybe you'll get it back from her later. But that's how she is. Fun. This is cool. Tell me more about, what did you think, Michele, about the basement?
I loved it. So there was a moment that got really intense for me. So just to give you guys a little bit of background, the lodge that we went to, it's called the Lodge, and it was a bar back in the, I forget when, back in during the Prohibition era. It was a bar along a chain of illegal gambling rings. So people would make money drops and go on to the next place. So a lot of people partied there. A lot of people drank there.
A lot of people died there.
And a lot of people died there. And one of the owners was talking to me when we were doing the interview and saying that when they first moved in, when they first bought the place, there was a hole, like a rectangle cut out in the floors of each level that was about 6 feet long and a few feet wide, and it's very suspicious. Like, what could you fit in a hole or drop down multiple stories to the basement that also had a freezer in it? Very suspicious. So the basement was really interesting, but there was a point, and the whole investigation team was down there, and my photographer was down there, and we were all talking, and I was facing this way. And as we're talking, when you feel like someone's watching you, and you could feel that like holes burning into your back. I started getting really hot, like I was having a hot flash, kind of hot. Yeah. And I kept thinking, I'm not turning around, but I feel like someone's looking at me right now. But I don't want to see whatever it is. Yeah. And right when I thought that, Lexi, another member of the team, kind of interrupted the conversation, and she goes, I just want to let you guys know that a couple people are watching us. They're just kind of checking us out over there, pointing behind me. Yeah. And right when she said that, we all kind of stopped talking and we turned around to look. And as soon as in that silence, you heard the sound of like a can being kicked across the room. Yep. And I was like, oh, okay, that is the extent of my paranormal threshold. But it was really interesting, and I can't imagine what it's like to just have that be your world.
It's a bizarre world. You're never bored, I can tell you that. But a lot of times it's like fishing. So you'll wait and wait and wait, and sometimes nothing will happen during the time you're there. But for whatever reason, going to that location, it's like good fishing every time we go. I think it's because of all that residual energy from the people going there to party. Mm-hmm. So like a school has never-ending supply of energy, same as a hospital, same as a school. Guaranteed weirdness. If you ever can go on a haunting like tour or something at any of those places, or like a really big public theater, like we have the Genesee Theater in downtown Waukegan, and they have major venues come out, like the B-52s, Alice Cooper, Meatloaf, like really big names. And if you go in there soon after something major like that, the energy in that place is fabulous. I want to do a tour out in there because that would be awesome. But you need the energy there to get like a high feedback. So the Lodge, one of my favorite ghost stories from the Lodge was actually being upstairs and getting felt, like breastbone felt. Woo! Oh yeah, seriously. We were doing a spirit box session in the main back room where they have the private parties, because usually we have half the team downstairs, half the team on the main level, and then we switch. Or just depending on the comfort level, or if anyone's getting sick or melting down, I'll deal with the scared people outside, calm them down, help them feel better. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes if you either sit on an entity, walk through them, or if you're too sensitive, you can get really sick, nausea, vomiting. Usually I end up giving them a pixie stick, which sounds lame, but if you're having a problem with a low blood sugar and you have a pixie stick and you let it absorb directly underneath your tongue, you'll feel so much better in real time. So, and plus, well, they're yummy. Help people stay up really late. We keep really irregular hours. So in actuality, it just kind of helps us make sure that people get home safe and everything else too. Because that's what we want. Hi, baby. Such a cutie puppy.
Her sister go outside, and so she's like, "What?"
Yeah, we do. It's called last call.
Okay.
So it's like it's the go outside, go potty, and then when it's done for the last of the night, that's it. And she knows. All my dogs have always been trained for that. So, but I was talking to you about being touched. We were talking to this guy over the night, and he sounded like a jazz singer, really sexy voice from like the 1930s. I mean, just wow, going, wow, you sound really sexy. This is great. Talk to us all night. This is a dream. I mean, he was just like the nice velvet round tones. You just kind of go, oh, wow. I'm married. I'm not an option. He's dead. Have her work out. But, hey, he sounded really nice. Mm-hmm. And you don't expect this and stuff, but I actually wore a sundress that night and jeans. Mm-hmm. It was so hot that night, and it was like had skulls on it. I'm like, hey, I'll try this for work. Man, I should have done this years ago. I was walking down the hallway, and I paused, and I felt a guy's left hand start at my breastbone, and I felt the middle finger, pointer finger, and ring finger go flat against my breastbone, and then slowly go up and around over my left shoulder. And I must have just gasped, and I looked over at Nick, and he was like, what? Like, I must have really given this guy a really bad look, and I felt really bad. But, I mean, if that would have happened to him, I'm sure he would have looked at me kind of like, what the what anyway?
Yeah.
And then Aaliyah was right in front of me, and she's looking at me like, what's wrong with you? And then I pulled the top of my shirt away like this, and I'm looking down. I'm like looking for a bug. The investigator in me is going, what else could it have been? And I was like, what? And so now my coworkers are looking at me like, great. Now she's completely lost it. But it wasn't a bug. It was
guys.
like,
we broke her.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Mr. Grope 101. I was like, woohoo, now it's a party. But it was like, that's an experience. I have no evidence other than my coworkers looking at me like I have a mental problem. And then having my friend Janny being in the hallway going, I'm next. Pick me. I was dying. It was so funny. So then we had a lot of female investigators hanging out and bunking out in the hallway going, hey, check them out. Check them out. It was so funny. It was very inappropriate. But that happened. It is a bar. And I was like, oh my God. Hello. It was embarrassing, but awesome all at the same time. That was a fun one to report.
That's fun.
Yeah.
One of the things.
Sorry, nerd laugh, can't help it.
One of the things that you were talking about during our interview first at Denny's was that you tend to wait for other people to talk to someone that you've never met before you start a conversation, because you're not sure if everyone can see them or if it's just you. Yeah, absolutely. I've been embarrassed in public before, where I was at a nice vintage garage sale. We have those on, I think it's California Street in Chicago. I love vintage items, thus the glasses. That's my gimmick. Old, fun, and what's old is new again. They are prescription. But basically what had happened is I went to this really nice vintage garage sale. It's probably about 5, maybe 6 years ago now. And I was talking to this lovely lady that reminded me of Mary Poppins. Just very polished, very nice. I remember little mink hat, like a pillbox hat. And I bumped into her. And I went, oh, wow, you be working that hat. You look so adorable. And she was like, thank you. And then, like, we're having, like, idle chit-chat. And then some lady came through, and I'm going to edit the language on this one, put her hands up and went in between and goes, I'm so sorry to interrupt you both. And I turned around and called her, wow, what a bee. And I can still hear this lady giggling, and she's cracking up, and I can hear her as clearly as I can hear and see you guys. And I turned around, she was gone. And it was the inside of a U table, so she would have had to pass me to get out of the zone. And everyone in these vintage garage sales, all the people that work the tables, they're all in period costume.
That's just what the salespeople do out there. So I can't tell the difference between a salesperson and a person that had an attachment to an item. And the reason why I say that is because that cute little hat that she was working was for sale for $40 on that top shelf that was right behind her and a different height. So she actually blocked out the shelf with her height. And then when I saw it, I checked out to see how much it was, and I was like, oh, man. People freak out. And so I basically stated out loud, I think you're a lovely person. If you want to ever hang out and talk, that would be awesome. But the hat stays here because, yeah, it's $40. Sorry. I'm sure someone lovely will get that hat. But sometimes spirit attachments happen at the darndest times. But, yeah, the lady was really mean to me and embarrassed me in public. And, yeah, she got to hear what I said about her, too. One of my less than fresh moments. She was rude.
Yeah,
she was so mean to me.
So it's interesting. So sometimes you can actually see them like how it's portrayed, like in movies and someone stuff where they actually physically manifest for you. How fascinating! I mean, out of curiosity, when did it start? Was it like when you were a kid, or was it like older?
I was always that way. It just got kind of more obvious as I got older. The first time I have memories as an adult and understanding, I was about 4 years old, because it's about as far back as I think I can remember. I'm not sure if I was 3 or 4. And just seeing weird things. You kind of just wonder if it's like a heightened imagination or the artist in you coming out to say hello. Mm-hmm. But the first time I ever knew for a fact I heard a disembodied voice was the day I almost got abducted when I was a kid. Mm. Yeah. So that brings us into many different facets of my universe. Basically, I was in junior high. I was the only kid that took that back pathway home. Michelle knows the story. Mm-hmm. And long story short, I was walking home, and it was February, and there was a lot of snow, and a guy wearing what's called a dickie. It's an automotive suit, mm-hmm. and it goes up. It's like a brownish tan color, so you can't see a lot. The guy wouldn't step into the snow behind the school and kept telling me that my dad was in an accident, that my father had sent him to come and get me and take me to the hospital, that he got hurt in construction on his job, and all this stuff, one lie after another. And I was thinking, and I go, I thought my dad worked at Illinois Bell now. My dad used to have a contracting company, but he no longer did. He didn't do construction because he had gotten hurt like years before. So like maybe someone that knew him or was a neighbor or something. But what had happened is this guy kept trying to get me to step closer and closer and closer to this vehicle that was parked on just the back parking lot area where there's no one around. It's pretty secluded. And he started to get really, really upset. And there's this long field that's between the two different schools, an elementary school and a junior high. And he keeps trying to lure me in. And then I hear this Italian guy behind me that was like, listen, kid, if you want to live, this is the part where you run. Run, kid, run. And I turned around and I was like, ah! And I just ran. I ran like a mile, and my mom used to work in an Ace Hardware. And so I went and hid in the back room, and I was like, and I was like freaking out. And they did not call the police. This was the 80s. It was like 1985 or something like that, and I was in junior high. And they did not call the police. Well, they should have, because that was an attempted abduction. And another little girl took my place, looked almost exactly like me when I was in junior high. And that poor kid went missing about 2 weeks later. Figure that was Mount Prospect, Illinois, back in the day.
Yeah, because I was almost abducted when I was a kid. And I was maybe about 7 or 8. Because I learned the stranger danger thing, but nobody called the police.
I didn't find out for a fact about the young lady until I was an adult, and I saw her picture in a Walmart. And I realized the time and the month and the age, and she was like literally my town. And I always kind of had a suspicion of who it was, because you find out later, because then they had the registered sex offender list, so you can find out now on the internet like where you're at, what's going on, so you can stay safe. But back then they didn't have any of that. That's why they have the Amber Alerts and all that. But oh yeah, so my life goal, because of this and all these different weird things that have happened to me over the years, I figured out the math. In the past year, I've almost died about 25 times over. With that being said, every time I've had a near miss, I get a new skill set or I just get stronger. And the last time I almost died was the end of January. And I got to tell you, I think it'd be an awesome miracle if I lived to old age. That would be awesome. I would love that. That would be really good. Yeah.
That's gonna
That's the superpower that you're building up to.
Seriously, man, old age sounds great. I just want to see if I can do it. Everything from near abductions to almost like an abduction when I was like 19 from a scary ex-boyfriend. He was just a lunatic. So all these things, a chandelier, car accident almost took us out in January.
Oh, wow.
But I'm still here. I am still here. So the whole abduction thing or near abduction made me want to work missing persons. So I got a job offer about a month ago, and I'm going to be working for DDI, volunteering my time there, working with disaster dogs and a cadaver dog. So anything I can do to help. And obviously, you know, I like dogs, so that's kind of good.
That works, yeah.
Body rubs for all.
And from dogs, from what I understand, they're quite perceptive. I actually have friends in Texas whose the house that they were living at the time did have a haunting there. They did have somebody there, and I want to say it was an older woman that would haunt there, and she was like, my friend was like, just to warn you, she really loves dogs, because I had 2 other dachshunds at the time, and I used to spend the night there, and I was like, okay, right, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. Went to sleep,
Yeah.
And we're on the pull-out couch in the bedroom, in the living room, and all of a sudden my dogs are at my feet, and they're just going nuts like somebody's playing with them. And it was in the middle of the night. We stayed up late, and we had been drinking because she was the one who taught me to actually hold my liquor. And yeah, and I was like, oh, for Christ's sakes, I just want to go to sleep. Can't you guys play some other time? And like that, boom, dogs quieted down, which dachshunds, that doesn't happen normally.
Not so easy, no.
Yeah, they curled up, they went right to sleep, and it was done. So it was,
babies.
old lady was playing with my dogs.
That is funny. Yeah, my house has got a lot of issues, so I completely understand. Sometimes it's been like a love-hate relationship, but I always felt like I was being looked out for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. But yeah, they've been known to play with the dogs. I've had Ruby, who you got to meet tonight. Her name's Fully Ruby Tuesday. She's got the personality of Wanda Sykes. Awesome. Yeah, she's in here snoring on the couch beside me now. Like on the next couch, never so often, she like looks at me and goes, But one time, actually, because local haunts will come by, kind of think of this place as the Hyatt Regency Hotel. The light is always on. Because someone like me, the term is shiny. I am shiny. Dogs see it. Cats see it. Kids see it. Special ed kids really see it. And category out there that is lost in the dark and need directions on how to go home, they can see it. So sometimes you get people that don't belong here that's like, hey, how's it going? Go away. I want to get one of those night masks that say out of order. It's something snarky and rude, and I'm like, just out of order. Just kind of like, if you're sick, put it on so it's like you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Take a number, come back later. Because when I'm sick, it's like literally out of order does apply. But Ruby was standing over me this a couple of years ago now, and I woke up to that German Shepherd mix standing over me, growling and barking in the direction of the ceiling fan that's like by the foot of the bed and above, between the footboard and the TV. And it was just, oh man, she was so scary. And to wake up in the middle of the night to something like that, I was like, what the heck came to visit in the middle of the night? Was sure not a friendly, because she sounded like a rabid beastie. Not like I know what a rabid beastie sounds like, but it was scary. And then it was like a couple of minutes of that, and then it was done. Dead silent. She turned around like, hey, Mama, are you okay? Yeah. Now that I peed myself, thank you, Rudy.
I got it, Mom. He's gone.
Yeah. Big bad's gone now. All is good. Rub my belly.
Exactly.
I will never, ever be without a dog, and I'll probably always have scary big dogs now.
Mm-hmm.
But I love miniature dachshunds. They are German shepherds that shrank in the wash.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah.
They are awesome. They are so awesome.
Yeah. I don't need the scary big dogs because I mean they're vicious enough, and I mean I've taken them for walks in the parks, and I've had people look at me going, your dogs are, they're dachshunds. Dachshunds are vicious. Like, people actually be physically scared of my little dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. They're all like, wah! I'm gonna get you, wah! Yeah, they can do everything but clap.
Pretty much. I have a cousin who's actually got a scar on his leg from a dachshund from when he was a kid. That apparently.
Oh my God.
I hate those dogs. I'm sorry.
Oh man, they've always been really good to me. Although my one dachshund really hated the movie Cujo by Stephen King, and it would be on, and she'd go up and just keep charging the TV. Like, she's gonna take him down. Yeah, that was Basil.
She'll actually watch the nature shows with us. You put on like one of those Planet Earth things, and she just gets entranced by whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. She'll love it. She's a weirdo like that.
Oh, that's funny. For me, when my daughter got older, the dachshunds would be babysat by watching Sesame Street and Caillou and stuff like that. Made them happy. Things got a little weird as they got older. The one dachshund, Milo, we'd always say my man Milo, and we would also call him my senile little bee. Well, I can say it because it was in the book. You said it, bastard. Mm-hmm. My senile little bastard.
We have potty mouths here, just to let you know. I think we have potty mouths here on the show. At least I do. I know Michelle has. I've said the F word, and I think that's the only time that she has actually tried to censor me. For which I've started calling her.
Lily was awake.
I'm totally used to having to censor because of the shadow hour. So we got to be good. I got to get used to broadcasting again and be good, because you never know who's watching.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is true. I'm one of these girls who loves to swear, so it's hard for me.
That's all right. I'm around investigators all the time. You'd be amazed at what comes out of their mouth. Sometimes I have to ask them what things mean. They keep me current. They keep me young. But yeah, there are times where I'm going, you do what with, wait, what? What? And you dumb it down, and I need that. But the Milo thing. Mm-hmm. He sounded like he was speaking Chinese Mandarin when he was senile. I mean, like, he would sit there and be like, he had police officers over here on the 4th of July a couple of years ago, because my neighbors, some of them are a little frightening, and that happens wherever you live sometimes. And basically, the guys came over because I'd overheard that they were going to rob a few local places, like the houses on my street, me included, the gas station, and the liquor store. So I called it in. And I remember having the guys come in. We nicknamed them, you guys love this, because there was the two majorly different personalities of these two gentlemen. One was Officer Hottie and one was Officer Talks a Lot. But then Officer Hottie got nicknamed Officer Twitchy because he was afraid to death of my cell phone. If you would have seen this guy, I felt bad for him. My phone went off and it scared him. I'm surprised he didn't shoot my phone. Decaf, dude. Decaf. Yeah, seriously. So they're arguing with me about, like, how could I have possibly heard the guys across the street? I can hear a squirrel fart in Nebraska, and I usually just tell people I have a hearing problem with my left ear. One, it's summer, I have allergy ears, but when it's not an allergy ear, sound is so vibrant and loud to me that it shorts out. So I could hear people whispering across my street, tip them off, so people in the area know who I am, and gradually learning what I do, and it's kind of funny and a little bizarre all at the same time. But they came in, and Milo would not stop barking. And they were sitting down, stood up, did my report, the guys were leaving. And I looked at Milo, I'm like, don't do it, man. Don't make me point at you. And Milo's doing that, and he's doing, the full-on barking of the dachshunds. And then he's like, crazy as, hoop-house rat. But I went, that's it, little man. I'm pointing at you. And I go, look at me. And he looked at me like, enough. And he, the ears go back, his tail goes, and he went, and he ran to the dresser. And I turned over to the officers and I went, the guys were just laughing. And Milo was just awesome. I'm like, I told you to be quiet, little man. And the guys are laughing at me. I'm like, don't make me point at you. And he's like, it was just kind of funny because it was just like one bizarre thing after another. Dogs and haunting kind of go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. They'll tell you where the good stuff's at. Just watch them. They'll tell you what's going on.
So, yeah, and that's a little long about where I'm like really interested in like the fact that you're going to be working with the police on the matter. I mean, in that situation, yeah, is it going to be, are you going to feel is a little more stressful? Because I mean, there's a little bit more pressure.
Well,
I feel like there's more pressure in that regard. So just out of curiosity.
First of all, believe it or not, I ended up with the fire department first. I'm not quite sure how that happened.
Huh.
I want to work with police at some point, but ironically, the rescue group that sought me out, they found me. I met the one lady. Her name is Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Great woman. We found her at a thing called Comic-Con, which is like a comic book convention out in Lake County, Illinois,
mm-hmm.
because she's an artist and my daughter wants to be an illustrator and make cartoons and do animation and stuff. So I met her like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then she started coming to my library talks for shadow hunters. And then she started coming to my investigations where I learned how to be an investigator and have a dinner at the lodge where people will grope you and it will be fun. There's no guarantees on that one, the grope and go. But, long story short, she's like, hey, would you ever consider donating your time? And I'm like, let me get this straight. And I probably looked all grumpy and stuff as I was processing everything in a resale shop. And I'm like, you want me to donate my time to work with rescue dogs for the missing persons and a cadaver dog? And she was like, yeah. And I went, I would be honored. Absolutely honored. Tell me where I can sign up. And she was like, score. And all the guys that work there are either ex-military
mm-hmm.
or ex-military and retired paramedics, firefighters. They never quite stop working. They keep going out trying to help people.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty wild. So a couple of weeks ago, we were out doing training out in a forest preserve, and they have what's called HR, which is human remains for short.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, people actually donate it, sometimes the remains, because they either did this job or they want to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it a little bit before the dog did, and the dog was laughing at me. It was really funny. And the one guy was like, I'm telling on you. It was cool and it was creepy. But I'm telling on you. I'm like, that's cool. He goes, how'd you do that? I'm like, I don't know.
That's so cool. Like, brought you out. That's got to be such an honor for that. And
it was pretty neat. And I was just like, I guess I set a new record of actually getting hired.
Okay.
That was like another 10 minutes flat, and I got my first cold case, and I just stood at this big, thick binder, and I was like, oh!
Oh, how cool. How cool.
I feel really bad for the lady, but I want to help her. And if I can help, that's a score.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind finding people's car keys and helping them out over the years. I would get a $25 finder's fee for going to houses like by phone, by brain, and like being like, all right, this is where you got to go. Finding those big fancy keys that are like $500 to recut. They didn't mind paying $25 to, do that. But after a while, it was like, it uses so much energy to do these things
mm-hmm.
that I was like, what can I actually do to be of assistance? Like really make a big difference. If I'm going to be really tired, what would make it grand? What would make it really, really worth it? Because, I mean, I don't mind helping people that have problems and are overworked and disorganized.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that if I was missing it, I hope that someone would care enough to never stop looking. There's a couple of cases in Illinois that I've been watching privately for years, and I would love to just kind of help.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'll have access to people that can get me into restricted zones, and maybe I can make a truly big difference. We'll see what I can do.
That's great. Yeah. It's great to be able to, to have people out there just wanting to make a difference and doing something positive in the world. That's always great.
Yeah, it's definitely someday when I have grandkids, they're going to be like, wow, Graham was really weird. It's like, yep, that's where you get it from. Sorry, guys. I'll apologize in advance a lot because it's like all those crazy things. And like, I love the article that you wrote about me, Michelle. Oh my God.
Thank you.
My cousin read it and she goes, you can play like a drinking game and read the article that every time I'm quoted, take a shot.
Well, not like, my fault. You said so many things, and I was, when you're a reporter, you're in a conversation, you're in an interview, when someone says something, it's like, that's a quote, and I knew exactly while we were still talking, I knew what quote I was going to end the article with, and it was your quote.
Yeah. So my mom was so pleased. Yeah, the plaques in the kitchen is funny though, because it's like I showed my husband and I go, see, look, I got my article. It's like up on the wall, and he's like going like this, and I'm like, green right there. And I go turn up, and he was like, oh, like this thing. It was like, how can you miss it, man?
I have to tell you this story really quick. Yeah. When you called the night that you thought our episode was happening and you were actually a week early.
Yeah. I get lost in time.
So I don't think I told you this, Diana. Liz called me the Saturday before she was supposed to come on the show, thinking that it was that night. And that day, like, the kids had been really crazy, and like maybe 5 minutes before you called, they had just settled down and it was like quiet, and I was finally able to relax, and my phone rang, and I like, please don't take this anyway, but I looked at my phone and I was like, I don't feel like talking to anyone right now.
Can't blame you.
And but I answered, we chatted and everything, and at the end of the conversation we were saying goodbye, and you said thank you for taking my call. And then you hung up, and I thought, she probably knew that I was thinking about screening her call.
Yeah, sorry.
That was kind of like an odd thing to say.
Yeah, I'm just that way. No worries. Yeah, that day I literally was just shy of heat stroke. I spent the day in the forest preserve, my first day working with the dogs. So I was just like, woo! Yeah, that was fun. But it was just one of those things where I'm going, oh my God, did I screw it up? Oh my God, is it tonight? And I'm going, when am I? And my daughter's like, I don't know. She's been helping me with my scheduling, and I feel like the mad scientist, where it's just like, it's not where I am, it's when I am. Mm-hmm. Because if you think about it, translating also has to do with time, which has to do with quantum physics. So, I mean, we could go spinning for like days on all this stuff, but it's like, it's not just when you are, it's where you are. And it goes back and forth. We call it timelines and hopscotch. So a lot of things, like when you talk about ghosts and stuff like that, there is a story out there. It's an article. I wouldn't do it tonight, but like when you have a chunk of time and you're really, really goober awake, mm-hmm. It's called What the Bleep Do I Know? Or We Know, something about that. And it's got the actor that was the original Joker from the old 1960s Batman in there. And they're talking about physics and ghosts being like stuck in a two-dimensional plane of reality, and how everything slightly overlaps. So if the conditions are right, time doesn't exactly move in a straight line. It kind of skips like a stone across a puddle. Mm. So it's pretty cool. You guys should check it out one of these days, because it's like, it doesn't really talk about magic. It talks about science, but some of their theories really got me thinking. Because some days I'm going, when the heck am I? And it's like, you just feel a little bit lost. And that kind of goes with the territory. The more mediums I meet, and believe me, the internet has made the world be big, because I never met anyone like me other than my family members until I was like, oh man, I would say in my 30s. Mm-hmm. So I'm 44 now, and that's a long wait to kind of just think you're just freaky and alone. Other kids would make fun of me when I was a kid. They'd call me freak. They were not very kind. And it's just kind of a humbling way to go. But you guys should totally check that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Really
More on the serious side, but I think you guys would get it, and it's kind of funny because sometimes it's just plain hokey, but it's really good.
Yes, I will definitely check it out. I had a friend who used to say, that science really is like magic. Because I mean, what was magic back in the day? It was things we couldn't explain, and that science, explains unexplainable and the stuff that we can't explain yet.
That's true.
I find science to be magical myself. Just, I love the cosmos and astronomy and stuff, and it's magical to me.
That is pretty cool. I love that stuff too. And palmistry, my vision does not allow me to do stuff like that. I actually took a poke at it to see like what it would be. I can't see the lines for anything. I can't. Category. That's not it. With me though, for stuff I've seen over the years, a lot of times information is dreams. Or just being there and getting that feeling, that nagging feeling, and just whatever comes out of my mouth is spot on. I do cards for clients because I figured out a long time ago if they did not see cards in front of them, they didn't want to pay me for my work, which is very unfair. And there's a time for translating and donating of time, and then there's a time to be able to pay your phone bill.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I get that. I mean, people don't even necessarily want to pay. I work for an attorney, and they don't even necessarily want to pay for the time for just the attorney's advice. We'll deal with that where they come in and they'll sit down with him for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and they're like, "What? You're charging me? If I want to come in and talk to you for an hour, you actually charge me for it?" It's like, well, yeah, you're getting advice. You don't just, when people are doing stuff like this, or like with an attorney, or they think that they're not going to get charged for it, but you can't just walk into it and sit down in a doctor's office and be like, well, I've got this, this, and this going on.
Yeah.
And then the doctor gives you advice and you walk away for free. It doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah. No, that's absolutely true. And if they want something like, I don't know, on sale, perhaps they should get a fortune cookie or a magic 8-ball. Just a thought.
Balls, yes.
Puppies. Yes, I do. But yeah, sometimes people are just kind of greedy, but there's been times where I do volunteer, obviously my time for different stuff, and things come on the wind. Good comes back my way. So I think if you give to the wind provides back. And I think that works with no matter like what religious background you're at. You do good and it comes back. You act like a jerk and wow, it will come back. When it comes to karma, I prefer to be on the upside of karma instead of being slapped upside the side of the head with it. So, it works for me.
Yeah.
That will be the name of my next dog, will be Karma, because she got to be like me.
And she's got to be a girl, because Karma can be a bitch.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
Out of curiosity, what's because you're talking about figuring out when you were and not only the time period. What's the oldest person you've ever come across as far as like time periods?
I've never seen one past 200 years.
That's pretty old though.
That's
so I've seen Civil War because I've been in Gettysburg when I was in 8th grade. And I kept talking about the history reenactments that I saw, like when I was in the elevator and all sorts of different things. And the other kids looked at me like I had a mental problem. And they explained to me, one of the instructors, I don't know if it was a chaperone or a teacher now, it's been a long time, that there was no history reenactments in the elevator and stuff. And I was like, oh, good to know. What do you say to that? Thanks for making me feel like cray-cray. Thanks. But just in general, I would say that would be the oldest that I've seen was firmly from the Civil War. I've been overseas. I've been in foxholes. Those were in France. And I saw stuff when I was there. So, yeah, so far we are definitely at Civil War. So that's what, 157 years ago? So I haven't been to Egypt. But I've been to the Chicago Field Museum, and they had a lot of really cool old stuff there. But the oldest person, like the only ghost I saw there was like a curator or some dude in a red jacket giving a tour. And he's still walking the inside of the perimeter. Because I woke up, I was there for Girl Scouts. I worked with them for 7 years for a special ed troop. So we had little kids. We have a thing out there called Dozing with the Dinos. So you can buy a ticket and you can do a slumber party at the Chicago Field Museum when you are in town.
Mm-hmm.
We recommend it if you are a ghost chaser and just be there for the Dozing with the Dinos. Maybe you get to see a tarantula that's alive. They have one there and like art stuff for the little kids to do. It was fabulous. But I woke up, you're allowed to do the camping obviously inside. And I had that really thick air mattress, the really big one, because you're going to need it because it's, you know, a really hard floor.
Yeah.
And I had my arm over the edge. Yeah. So it's like when you always say, don't put your arm over the edge of the bed, it's like a scary moment, you know, in a movie. Someone did grab my hand and woke me up, and I remember going, no touchy. And I had this strong man hand. Like, if you take, this was mine, this was the guy. All right. I woke up to a guy holding on like really, really tight onto my hand. And like he was crushing my hand. It felt like a gorilla grip or something. Like when you feel like something cracks. And then I said, no touchy. And then it dissipated and went away. And I never saw that guy for the rest of the night. It was just some middle-aged white guy, probably from the 1960s, bright red jacket, gold buttons, and would just keep walking within the building. And you'd get to a certain point in the bird hallway, and then he would just kind of be gone. And then I'd see him again about an hour later. And then eventually he just kept coming down a little bit farther, a little bit farther. But there's a really neat exhibit there of Egyptians and stuff like that. And it goes downstairs, and it's really, really scary at the Chicago Field Museum. But I did not see anything creepy, old, and Egyptian. But I heard there's stories of a screaming mummy that you can actually look up online, that it happened somewhere in the 1950s. But I did not experience it when I was there. The guy in red was enough for me. Yeah. You go to the Chicago Field Museum, and you go into the area where there's all the stuffed animals. And you look up at the ceiling. My bed was underneath the bones of a gigantic whale. So if you kind of look around, there's all these like enchinas and all there's like desert animals in the glass cases. You look up and you see a whale. That's where I was sleeping, trying to sleep. You know, but that would be fun for you guys because you've got munchkins. You need kids to be able to go on that because it's a child event. Just saying.
Michelle.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll bring the kids. Diane, we'll wait for Diana to come, and then Liz, you have to come with us.
Okay.
And then we'll go there.
It's going to be a busy weekend because I plan on coming out for the book festival, the really big book festival. We got to go to the Nutella Cafe that just opened up. And what's it? I want to take a trip over, you know, obviously 3 Dots and a Dash. And then the name of the improv people, I keep forgetting it, where all the SNL people come out of. I kind of want to go see that.
My brother used to work there, the one at the Northwest, Second City.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Most of the places you talked about are really cool, and they need reservations. Get your tickets in advance. If you can't get Second City, get Zanies. They're really good too.
Okay.
We can hook you up with comedy and stuff like that. Oh man, that's just wild.
Here on Wine Women Words.
Cool. I'm trying to think of what else we really like. Oh, I wanted to ask you that thing with the name of the bar, that Dash. What is it? The Dashes. Is that an SOS?
Yes, I think so. I think 3 Dots and a Dash is an SOS signal.
I will look it up right now. Hold on. 3 Dots.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like here, I couldn't even say it, but in my brain, I kept feeling SOS, SOS, SOS. Doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah. Are you looking at Michelle?
I am.
Yeah,
everything that's coming up is the Tiki Bar.
Does 3 Dots and a Dash mean SOS?
Morse code.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we did for our Valentine's Day trip, we went and did the Tiki Bars in San Diego. Yes, Michelle, you found it?
Yes. Three dots and a dash actually is Morse code for the letter V, and that was used to symbolize victory in World War II.
Oh, interesting.
That is cool. I like that better than an SOS.
Yeah, I was thinking SOS because of all the tiki drinks, because Lord knows those are strong.
That is cool. No, I really like that. That is neat. And one of my obsessions, like you are all about Civil War and like other stuff. I like World War II. I like it. I'm obsessed by World War II. I've like had a bazillion dreams about it and old Germany since I was a kid. So.
Oh, how interesting. I love the time period. I love from 1900 to just before 1950, like from World War I going through to World War II, and especially that time period right between the two wars, the 1920s and 1930s, just that really electrifying time. And then Irony of Ironies, the book that I'm writing, is in the mid-1800s. So
that is cool. So we're all in love with the timeline that's not this one.
Exactly.
There's irony in that, but yeah, I've always dreamt about it. Just been a little too weird. And ironically, how I was talking about Officer Hottie, and then we nicknamed him Officer Twitchy. We don't know. My daughter and I have no idea what these people's names actually are. Because, like, you know, stress situation, didn't look at the name tags, never saw them again. But I had these weird dreams about World War II and stuff like that. So the one guy, like from years in advance, when I saw this guy, I just about had a heart attack because he looked like the guy from my dream. It just freaked me out so bad. It was sad. It was just sad. Like when the last time you see a person and then you know they're going to get killed type moment. Because they just kind of give you that look like they're studying you and they get it, that they're never going to see you again. It was one of those weird dreams where I could hear the Nazis marching down the street, and we were inside this big business building, and he just kind of looked at me, and we had to hide, and he helped me up into the ceiling, like up the desk and in, and then put the panel back in. And just I remembered the eyes. It just haunted me so bad. So then when I saw him, I was like, what? Can't talk to you. Too attractive. Go away. It was funny. Just, yeah, it was weird. So I don't know. Maybe that was a past life thing. Who knows? I mean, I have no reason to judge, but I got to tell you, it sure made me wonder. Made me start questioning a lot of stuff after that. That was just too weird even for me.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a Buddhist, so obviously I believe in past lives, so.
Got it.
Possible.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, like, good, bad, or otherwise, if sometimes you guys are just, like, meant to meet the same people again and either fix a right or a wrong, or just kind of make the right choices, keep moving forward, and maybe we just get to keep trying until we get it right. You guys
need exactly what the memory painter is about.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, this was about a book club, wasn't it? This is too funny. One of these days, you two need to either watch the movie The Cloud Atlas or read the book.
It's on Netflix right now, right? I think I saw it.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's a great movie. I watched it. It is really good.
Just don't eat at the end. Like, at the end of the movie's kind of icky. So it's like, it'll make you think a lot. I got to see it on the big screen, and I just sat there and went, oh, wow, big boats. You thought I was going to say something different. But no, boats. That was beautiful. In my opinion, they totally should have won Oscars. Halle Berry, Tom Hanks, they were amazing. Cinematography. The author is revered to be a genius. But the first chapter I read, the book is in the case, took me forever because I was spending like every 5 minutes looking up 300-year-old nautical words. Yeah, it took me a while. Didn't finish the book.
Yeah, I tried the book years and years ago, and it just wasn't my thing. I can't read hardcore science fiction. I love to watch it. That's what I love, watching hardcore science fiction. I don't necessarily really like reading hardcore science fiction. My reading gem is historical fiction. So
yeah, it was like a really big read, Michelle, and on top of it, it was very dry.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was like more power to the people writing the script and made it really be eye candy and beautiful and gory and everything. I mean, it was like just so many different timelines. I think it was 6 timelines crammed into one book.
Yeah.
And it will randomly hop from one zone to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And the men are sometimes women, sometimes they're kids. And you got to follow throughout the movie the shooting star tattoo or birthmark. And that's the only way you can actually tell who certain characters are when they get reborn.
Mm-hmm.
And how they like reinvent themselves. So it's pretty cool. Do not let the kids see it. Like seriously, you kind of like need like what was it like 2 hours or something? It's a really long movie.
Yeah, that's the reason why I watch it again, because it's such a long movie. And of course, I watched after reading The Memory Painter. I'm kind of like, I'm obsessed. Yeah, Memory Painter. I loved it. I love when Gwendolyn Womack, who we had on last month with her book, The Fortune Teller. So yeah, my fingers are crossed. Someday they do The Memory Painter.
I remember,
that is awesome.
Since The Fortune Teller was about tarot cards, and the Book of Speculation has tarot in them too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about someone reading my fortune. Read my fortune. Like, I don't know if I want to know, or like I don't know how I feel about that. I know Diana is definitely.
I always like to know because it's like a little bit of guidance. It's like getting a good therapy session.
Yeah, it's like a map, and whatever you choose to do is up to you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know. It's I don't know. It's very strange to me. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Oh yeah. I got to tell you, a lot of times, like I would do my cards and stuff. I would write everything down and I'd date it. And when I give readings for people, they're either for 6 months or for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So the max a person can see me is like twice a year. So it's kind of wild. And I always ask people, just contact me and let me know when it happened. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So yeah, it gets intense, but I like the cards that are Gypsy Witch because they're more accurate. I am not a witch. I'm just genetically goofy. Yeah, and it's just like, it is a genetic thing, and it's my choice to choose to be public, but I hid it for many, many, many years because not everyone's really nice or accepting, and people get really nasty. So, like how I said weird things to you on the phone, Michelle, I mean, that happens in general to other people, and it gets really awkward. So if I was telling people at work, if I don't respond, don't take offense, make sure I can see your mouth moving. And they're like, okay. But I do have problems with my left ear, but I milk it more than I probably should. But lately it's been bugging me. But I mean, just in general, I mean, I've answered people and then they're like, I didn't say anything. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm sorry, say what?
Oh, I thought you said something. My bad.
Yeah. Blame it on the dumb blonde. Okay. Yeah, I'm okay. And I don't want to be like the scary goth girl. So I'm more like Linda the Good Witch. If I was a witch at all, I'd definitely be the bubble maker. But it helps. I mean, I'm there to help. Yeah, I'm there to help, not be scary. So,
excellent.
Yeah, it works.
Well, no, because I left the interview, and I think I probably texted Diana on the way home, and one of my other girlfriends. I was like, I want to be friends with these people, but I don't know how. Like, I don't want to be weird.
It's okay to be weird. Just be yourself. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and it was just so weird too. We took her on a walk through haunted Antioch, and then I told my boss later, which is Nick Starla, I'm like, hey, I want to start doing haunted walks in Antioch, and he's like, okay, sounds good. It was like that easy, because just walking around, because I know the history of the city, and that would be fun. I'm like, we can have hot apple cider and donuts, and he's like, oh, it's about the donuts. I'm like, yeah. Donuts are good, man.
Donuts and milkshakes.
The donuts, seriously. Because I'm like kind of going, okay, that would be kind of fun. And then we started doing these tours and stuff, and I'm like, I definitely want that haunted walk because, kind of work off the donut.
Exactly.
Well, there's a lot in Antioch that I had no idea about. And
oh yeah, that entire area is messed up.
I was actually in Waukegan yesterday, and you mentioned the Genesee Theater, and I was like down the street from it.
Oh yeah.
our conversation is all tying in together because we're talking about science fiction, and I'm doing a whole thing on Ray Bradbury right now.
Oh, wow.
And I started reading Fahrenheit 451. Have you read that, either of you?
No, but I know what that is.
Yeah, I think my dad, that was one of the books my dad tried to make me read when I was in junior high. That and The Fountainhead.
It's really, he has a very unique style of writing, and the whole basis of it is that it's burning books and censorship, and it's like a dystopian reality. And the main character is a fireman, but he's not supposed to put fires out in houses. He goes out and burns houses down that have books in them. And he meets this girl, and I don't really know where she ties into the story yet, but he meets this girl who's like kind of a free spirit, and she says, you know, is it true that a long time ago firemen used to put out fires instead of burn houses down? And he's like, no, firemen have always burned houses down. That's just, houses are fireproof, so they can't just burn down on accident. But interesting book. But anyway, you said the Genesee Theater. I was like, I was right there. And now Waukegan is on my list of interesting places.
It is. Just kind of certain areas, just be cautious, be safe, be city-wise. They have.
I am like the least city-wise person you will ever meet.
Yeah. I'll take you on a tour. They have ghost walks in October at the Genesee, and it was only like $5 last year to get in and do it, and it was a fabulous time. And here I got to stand on the middle of that stage, and it was awesome. Oh my God. To be on stage where I've seen so many different amazing people play over the years. I love rockers. So it's like, woohoo, come on, break out the heavy metal. And I'm just like going, I just saw Alice Cooper here. And I was totally geeking out. And it's so intense when you're there, but I've been there and had like someone put their hand on my shoulder before and tap, all sorts of different things. But that is not a place for a lady to go by themselves and walking around inside. Some of the ghosts are very just nasty and don't like women. They're from a different timeline where women were more like a piece of property to be seen and not heard. So they're kind of curmudgeon-y.
That's like one of the places that you pointed out in Antioch was just, this is a place where I wouldn't recommend you go into a basement by yourself.
No woman. And I know exactly where that was. It's the tattoo shop.
Right.
I got to do all these different assessments all throughout town. I'm like, no way. And it's like, because I get to do the assessment, which is basically like in a walkthrough going, okay, what have we got here? Ooh, this could be fun. Or there's nothing there, or there's no uh-oh there, or oh, hello, baby. Or what exactly is going on. But that one location, it will be an amazing place to investigate. But the guy that's there, and I've heard from previous owners and stuff too, there's an entity there that really doesn't like kids. It doesn't like women. So that's when it's like, we can be as brave as we want, but you can still get harmed. I've been pushed downstairs before. I've been grabbed. I've been hockey checked. You can get hurt, so you always have to be cautious. So usually, like, my standard attire is either blue jeans or leather pants. Yeah.
I love the leather pants, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually painted a ghost on them. My daughter helped me draw it because, hey, she's going to be an illustrator, right? So we got Spooked the Ghost on my thigh. And a lot of times, because like I said, you can get hurt. I'm in basements or I'm in weird locations. And a lot of times forest preserves. So ironically now, for 2 out of 3 of my jobs, I usually smell like off bug spray is my perfume. Yeah, thank God this show's not smell preview, right? So yeah, it just gets kind of silly. It really helps to have a good disposition and, you know. Oh, and camouflage pants. I end up in a lot of camo too. Although unfortunately right now they do not fit. I had a true love affair with Ben & Jerry's ice cream this summer. Yeah. Those are my guys.
They are wonderful men.
That and let's see, Klondike bars. Anything that had to do with ice cream smothered in hardened chocolate. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I know. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
I know last time we had some technical difficulties in your sound cutting out.
Yes.
And
I've been terrified to touch my laptop since I dialed you in.
And I'm not going to ask about what I asked about last time.
That sounds fair.
Just in case I irritated anyone. But in your mirror, is that a top hat on like a mannequin or something?
Yes.
Okay. It looked really interesting, and I keep looking at it.
I'm gonna look in the mirror over here to see what it is. All right. See if I can I'm gonna tilt you just a little bit to see if I can change the angle.
And if the sound cuts out again, I'm really sorry.
I should just take a picture of them and show you later. Basically what it is, it's an outside statue of Buddha. I have a thing for Buddha too, but I am not Buddhist. Mm-hmm. I was raised Catholic, but there's Buddhas all over the place. I have no idea how many Buddhas I have. But he's literally like 4 feet tall, and he's sitting in a nice position on the piano. And on top is one top hat, probably from the early 1910s, I'm guessing. I went to an estate sale, and the lady is, oh man, I would love to have a bed and breakfast. Come on, a haunted bed and breakfast. How cool would that be? Cool. It's with me. How could it not be haunted? They just show up. You don't. They show up. It's already a hotel. Make it work. All right. But this lady did bed and breakfast murder mysteries.
Oh, that's cool.
So she had like all these cool, one more bizarre than the next theater hats. That's kind of cool. But yeah, that's what that is. I didn't even realize you guys could see it because, like, in my picture, I've got this little teeny tiny rectangle down here. So I'm kind of going, oh, it looks clean, kind of, over here. It's kind of funny because the rest of the house is pretty trashed. I'm not a good housekeeper, guys. Sorry. True.
Okay. Neither am I.
Yeah.
This portion of my house is clean.
Yeah, we're like right at the area where it's like, see, illusion. Oh, give me five, my man. And I do not buy top hats. So this is cool.
It is, yes.
Because when I have to do private parties and stuff like that, almost always I'm in costume, and they ask me to dress up for their theme or whatever.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
So you do private parties, like is it for readings or what do you do?
Oh yeah, for cards, stuff like that, and a lot of times it's for Mardi Gras. Halloween is always very busy. Wow, is it busy at Halloween? It started, my daughter teases me that Season of the Witch started in July this year. I'm like, yeah, sorry about that. It's just been really, really busy, lots of bookings, lots of things to do. And a lot of times, like in theater families, they'll celebrate big holidays, like Halloween is huge, but if you're in a show or doing performances like at Six Flags or whatever, you can't be in two places at the same time. So they'll have like a fancy party in the middle of summer for Halloween and have a costume bash instead of actually when Halloween is, because, well, everyone's working.
Right.
You can't do it unless you kind of like reinvent the wheel. And that's what theater people tend to do. They like to party and have fun and go out and do stuff. But yeah. Oh, yeah. Christmas, New Year's, Mardi Gras. And lately it's just been the never-ending crazy train. Basically, it's been just really wild. It's been fun, though. But I actually went on sabbatical. My company name is Soul Sister. It's the song by Train. Every time I thought I was going to start a business of my own, that song would come on the radio. Every single time. I'm like, I think I'll do that. And then actually my car that was named Lilo got eaten by a tree. And that was the license plate on my car was Soul Sister. And now it's inside my new van. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like an old van, but yeah. So now we're on to Ghost Girl. So if anyone ever sees Ghost Girl in a big red van that looks like it's 20 years old, that's me.
Yes, your van is very hard to miss.
Oh yeah. Usually there's graffiti on the side. I like paint markers that you can wash off. And I'll like write like a person would in high school, kind of draw on the side of the van if there's like a special event coming up or whatever. And people will just take a snapshot of the van on the side of the road and then come to the library. They're like, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. They're like, saw you on the highway. Yeah, you got a good camera there. Don't you know you're driving, okay? Yeah. Good to see you, though. Glad you're not dead. Yeah, that's good. That's still fine. Yeah, that's good. But yeah, safety first. But yeah, just I want to have adventure. That's my goal. And actually, we were supposed to talk last month when it was the fortune teller, but it just kind of didn't work out. Life happens.
Yeah.
And my computer was hating me.
And then my guy got sick, and
it works
out of
out.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did it.
Yes.
We did it. This is
we
awesome.
made it.
Yes.
This is so cool. And you got to learn a lot of stuff. Now, Diana, you probably think I'm crazy, and that's okay.
No.
But I like
You're wonderful. I think
I
I love odd people, so and because I'm an oddball myself, so this is wonderful. We're like, I feel a connection. We have so much in common.
We do have a lot in common, totally. This is good. And then we'll both be freaking out when we see a red balloon now. Actually, probably all three of us would be freaking out, not just the dog.
Freaking red balloons in my world. No.
Oh my God.
We're probably going to have like a full text conversation about how awesome you are after this.
Oh, that is cool. Thanks, guys. I love you both. This is fun. And I would do this again.
Oh, absolutely.
Aww.
Yeah, we would love to have you back. And we'll have to have the milkshake that we've been talking about for like ever.
Yes. I actually had a meeting, and it was with Nick, because we were talking Shadowhunter stuff. And I ordered that milkshake again. It's a happy birthday cake milkshake. And he was like, I'll have one too. And I actually got the guy, the food server. I go, it's been a really bad day. He goes, how bad are we talking? I'm like, extra whipped cream, kind of bad day. I'm like, bring it. And he did. Plate with like pretty whipped cream and sprinkles. I'm like, you're awesome.
You're my friend.
Yeah, seriously, he goes, I had a bad day too. And sprinkles makes it better. And my boss is sitting there going, you give me any extra sprinkles? I'm like, he likes me better. It was funny though, because it's true. Come on, who doesn't like sprinkles?
Right?
No one.
Doesn't.
Yeah, seriously.
No one I know.
My daughter and I have like comments, and we're like, who doesn't like sprinkles? I'm like, Nazis. Nazis don't like sprinkles. And I'm like,
it's usually my go-to thing.
Yeah, don't seem like that would make them happy. That's me, like obsession with World War II right there. That's like, yeah, they don't do sprinkles. Maybe because I don't know if sprinkles were there then. I don't know.
I think I should have done a promotion too. Who doesn't like free books? Nazis. Nazis don't like
Seriously. And puppies. It's like, but yeah, like German Shepherds. Dachshunds. Come on. How German can you get?
Right?
But it's like, it's just funny. But I'll tease about stuff like this, but I do have very passionate feelings about World War II and stuff like that. And I stayed with a homestay family in Germany when I was in high school. So I was in St. Louis, Germany, Laren, Holland, and then that was the only places where we had homestay families because I was like 17 years old. And I was with a choir and an orchestra, and we toured Europe. So we were in England and France. Where else? A lot of places that some were scary and some were good. But it's good if you're a ghost hunter. I'm going to have to go back. I have to go back to Paris, and I have to go underneath the city. So it's like someday I want to actually be with a touring group and like have, the vacations where you go somewhere weird and be like, come on, let's go. Where are we going to go? We're going to go underneath Paris.
Well, Diana is going to Paris in like 2 weeks, right?
Yep, I will be there.
Ooh, you go, girl. Arch, and what do you call it? The Arc de Triomphe, I think is how you get down there.
Okay.
And they have tours down there. They have carts. It's the City of the Dead underneath Paris. Look it up before you go so you can just kind of go, what the what? Yeah, I never knew it was there until like a few years ago. I mean, like, you'll feel weird if you are empathic, psychic, sensitive in any way, shape, or form. Like that mama intuition will go, that's in Paris. It feels really weird, but I never could figure out why. I just kind of figured it was because of the war. Oh, there was many wars there over the years, and they just kept putting them underneath the city because there was really nowhere to put their dead, really. So, like, you'll go into churches and stuff, and people will be in the floor and in the walls, but that's mostly England. But it's so bizarre there. But I guess there's an area where they've got their French citizens in one area, and the Germans, they walled them up and blocked them off, so they're trapped in a certain area. And I'm going, kind of makes you wonder, like, for someone like me, and I'm painted a little just off kilter. I think we're all painted special, but if they haven't crossed over yet and they don't know they're gone, I might be a little trifle confused, and I wonder if the war is still going on under the city or in their timeline. When are they? Like, are they still reenacting it? Because, I mean, the place just feels so bizarre.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
Well,
but it's like
our hour. So, and then some. And as much as I would love to sit and talk more, we do have to wrap up.
Not a problem. To be honest, I'm so exhausted I could cry. So I completely understand.
Yeah.
But we can always talk another time.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. Yes, it's been a long day for me too, and my dog's already asleep, so yes.
Mine just woke up.
You guys.
Come here. This is funny. It's time to go, and Ruby's like, I'm awake.
I'm not sleeping.
No, seriously, yeah, she took a power nap most of our talk. But yeah. She almost took out my coffee cup. My husband just came home.
Well, thank you so much, Liz, for coming on. It was great. It was a lovely chat. Thank you so much.
It was wonderful talking to you guys, too.
I'm so glad it worked out.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. That is so cool.
Everybody, don't forget, we do have the promotion going on. Subscribe to YM Women Awards, and you could get a chance to win the book. We have the record links. It's on our Instagram page and our Facebook page, and we'll tweet out the links again. So yeah, check it out. You guys get a free book. I mean, seriously, as we mentioned, who doesn't like free books? Nazis.
Books are awesome.
Well, thank you so much. I had so much fun.
Yes.
Oh God, yeah. It was fun for me. Love you guys. You're wonderful. I'm gonna try and figure out like how to log out now, because this is my first time without it crashing. So I have to actually try.
Yeah. Hold on. We can walk you through that. Good night, everyone.
Just a little X.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.